We are getting our photo taken at midnight right after the countdown to the beginning of the year 2023. I posted this on Facebook and I looked back at the New Year's 2022 cake photo from the previous year to see how things unfolded. However, when I came upon the cake, I saw something strange. I noticed similarities between the two New Year's Eve pictures, 2022 and 2023, that were posted a year apart. First was with the colors of the balloons, and second was with the same order that they are placed on the top. As I dug deeper, I would find more. This is a presentation explaining how the paranormal experience began. And it all started with this cake I baked, meant for a planned private party get-together with a small group of us to celebrate the new year 2022. However, this was during the COVID pandemic, and there was a strict curfew imposed upon us. A week previously, during the Christmas holiday, there were a few of us individuals leaving our social event that got hit with a $1,400 fine each for getting caught traveling home after 10 p.m. Therefore, out of this skepticism, our party was canceled. The artistic characteristics of this cake display two theatrical masks that are traditionally used to symbolize comedy and tragedy, with mystery written on the bottom, meaning our party was to be held in private. As for the year written within the top two parallel balloons, 20 in the yellow and 22 in the blue, signifying a poem that I wrote stating, "Half of New Year's 22 was blue with a curfew." This is an interpretation expressing an emotional idiom saying that goes as far back as the early 1300s. If you were feeling blue, you would be sad or depressed. This cake would not be shared amongst friends in the start of the New Year 2022. However, it would be posted on Facebook as an artistic emblem with a poetic statement as a riddle. By now, in the beginning of the year 2022, we would be encountering our peak of harsh conditions. Not only were we plagued with the COVID-19 virus that took the lives of many while also causing severe levels of anxiety, depression, and psychological distress due to social isolation, we would also have an economic crisis, the closing of schools and general businesses, mandatory masks and vaccines that force public business owners and some people to either get vaccinated or lose their job. To go into any store, restaurant, or social resort, you were required to show proof of a vaccination identification card. Those without one would be refused entry. However, by March of 2022, protesters from around the globe would put an end to the oppression. Soon after, the mandatory masks laws dropped and the public places were open for business again. By the end of the year at a New Year's Eve party, I was at a bar called the Chat Noir, Black Cat in English, with two friends, William Lavoie and Sean Davidson. We are getting our photo taken at midnight right after the countdown to the beginning of the year 2023. I posted this on Facebook, and on January 6, 2023, I looked back at the photos from the previous year to see how things unfolded. However, when I came upon the cake, I saw something strange. I noticed similarities between the two New Year's Eve pictures, 2022 and 2023, that were posted a year apart. First was with the colors of the balloons, and second was with the same order that they are placed on the top. As I dug deeper, I would find more. Take for instance these vertical and horizontal white lines outside of the cake's tray on the side of the face of the mask. As we see vertical and horizontal white lines in the background beside Sean's head on the outside of the bar's window. Picture 2023 that were posted a year apart. Square capital letters on the bottom of the cake as well as the shirt of Sean. This was the very first photo I took after the countdown at midnight, considered to be a bad shot because I didn't get all three of us in. Again, take a look at the lettering with the same letters as STER and REST. White rippled mask, white rippled shirt. The balloons on this photo also being in the same pattern sequence, as well as certain shapes appearing to be like the outlines of some balloons in the background. Small yellow, red, and blue balloons as the three main choice of colors also in the background of each photo. Now watch as we side these two photos together, aligning the balloons on the top at the same size. And as we cross these two over top, making the balloons complete, look what we come up with. Now we see Sean's two faces matching the expressions of the two masks, as well as in the same angles and sequence. And mind you, this isn't just a close match. When you integrate Sean's two faces over the expressions of the two masks, we detect identical outlines between both. Watch again with the first picture and the right side mask of the cake. Observe Sean's top left forehead over his eyebrow with his mustache and his lips to that of the mask. Also note both expressions being the same. As for the second photo and left mask, notice the outlines and expressions alike with the vertical and horizontal background white lines aligned together at the same size. Alright, now I'm going to show you the proof of time period, the time and date into which these photos were taken. I will begin to show you when and where I posted these photos, and it starts by going into the photo section of my Facebook account. As I scroll down this page, let's click on the New Year's 2022 cake photo. As you see the date posted, January 2nd, 2022. Sunday at 6:57 a.m. to be precise. One interesting fact based upon the colors I chose for the cake at the time, for I was quite limited by using natural ingredients such as beets, red cabbage, turmeric, and parsley that I forgot to mention here. My ambition in creating this cake was to keep it kosher and non-GMO, with a closing statement stating, "Happy blessings to all of you, mystery, joy, love, and thrills in the year 2022. With 25 likes at the time and some comments, one by my mom saying, "Beautiful and creative," as I replied with a rhyming riddle. Half of New Year's 2022 was blue with a curfew. Now skipping ahead a year to January 1st, 2023 with a photo I posted with Sean Davidson and William Lavoie, as I mentioned earlier, with a written statement saying, "Happy New Year 2023, have fun and stay safe everybody." And many comment replies at the time. And don't go away, after I'm completed displaying proof of these photographs, the second part of this story gets even stranger. Now if you right click on each photo and render down to properties, you get the approximate time and date each photo was taken. The first photo being Sunday, January 1st, 2023 at midnight and 40 seconds a.m. Again, if you open up each photo in a window and go into the info section, you'll get January 1st, 2023 at midnight for the first photo. As for the second being taken at 12:01 a.m. Opening up the second photo in the info section, you'll get January 1st, 2023 at 12:01 a.m. The third picture was taken a fraction of a second right after, which are slightly identical. Now, getting back to the 2023 New Year midnight photo, you'll notice a reflection of half moon shapes on the window in the back, caused by an alignment of these top lit colored balloon ball figures. Coincidentally, much like a mystery I was in the process of solving that year, being the Eliphas Levi Dell. As you can see, this image also contains half-moon shapes, dark and light. The first major clue begins in the center. The round circle is also aligned between the two half-moon shapes. Into figuring out the purpose of these two serpents wrapped around the rod, similar to a caduceus symbol, yet slightly different. In searching for the meaning, keeping relevant with the same time period when the Eliphas Levi-Dell was created, my search would lead me to a painting by Jean-Charles Frantier entitled Moses and the Brazen Serpent, created in 1743 in Paris, France. With this significant find, I was able to unravel several crucial clues needed to solve this mystery by interpreting important historical events tied to the true concept and characteristics of this art piece, as well as deciphering hidden coded messages. For more information on the Eliphas Levi-Dell, watch my video, How to Solve the Eliphas Levi-Dell Mystery, Everything You Never Knew. And I will post a link to this video on the bottom of the description. Alright, now I am about to expose to you how this painting strangely correlates to the photos taken of us on January 1st, 2023, right after midnight. Starting with the first clue, pyramid hand tattoo. By aligning the top left edge of the photo with the left side of the serpent's pole, notice how the ripples of the garment through integrating these two portraits together line up with the wristwatch and pyramid tattoo of the backhand fist of Sean Davidson. Take a look at William's black visor cap. When integrated over top of the painting, you'll notice what appears to be the form shape of an inverted upside down cap embedded on the edge of Moses' garment. Now, following the tip of the visor shape downward, you'll find a miniature outlined exact replica of William's visor cap hidden in the background of the painting. And what we find hidden by the same area of the lower right is on the back of the head of the other individual, of what appears to be part of the face of William's dog, named Baloo, giving me full confirmation that the shadow of this image is of him. And as for William's hand gesture of the index finger and thumb, how it invertedly parallels directly over top like the hand of Moses. Again, notice the integrated forearm and bicep of William to the top shoulder blade and back neck of the other individual. My hand and finger posture invertedly similar to the left hand of Moses. The yellow half-moon reflection aligning up with the end of the serpent's tail. Now, as we move the photo down and align the outer left edge of the inner left side of the painting, you can see an exact mold of Sean's thumb being also the same size. As well as the tip of William's thumb covering the back of the individual's head of what appears to be his dog Baloo. The yellow half-moon reflection with window lining siding evenly with the lower part of the pole. The circumference of the yellow lit balloon ball surfacing around the face of Moses. And the lower half of Sean's shirt logo evenly covering the top part of the head of another individual. By centering the two portraits and aligning the whole of Sean's pant leg over the individual's bottom knee, we'll also see the shape of Sean's middle finger evenly covering the shin leg of the dead infant. The serpent-like balloon head with large fangs align within the center of the two head light beams of Moses. William's back hand covering another cap visor mold embedded on the lower garment fold of Moses. Alright, moving the photo a bit over with the outside aligned with the right inner frame of the painting. You'll notice the blue turquoise garment of this individual, same as the color of the pants worn by me. As for the lighter color blue ripples in this area, also matches the color the jeans wore by Sean Davidson that night. Now watch as the shape of Moses' sleeve hole perfectly covers the circumference of Sean Davidson's ear. As for the inverted visor cap rippled garment fold, you will also see in the background of this area another miniature visor cap. Now on the top left corner, you will find the serpent-like balloon head that appears to have large fangs located perfectly parallel beside the other serpent head, yet facing opposite towards our direction. Watch how the shape of the cover garment for Moses is entirely wrapped over Sean's head, as for the sleeve hole completely covering the outline margin of his ear, like the biblical saying, "Make these people blockheads, with fingers in their ears and blindfolds on their eyes." Now it wouldn't be until March 7th of 2023 before I realized that these two characters in this painting were matching replicates of Sean Davidson and I. Here, I will show you some identical similarities based upon previous photos taken of us. Starting with our first photo we ever took together, like the Moses and the Brazen Serpent painting being the first and last essential key documents needed to solve the Eliphas Levi-Dell mystery. These two matching characters depicted of us in this portrait would correspond with detailed features from our first and last pictures taken together as of New Year's January 1st, 2023. Now getting back to our very first snapshot, you'll notice that we are topless like the two similar characters seen here in the painting. And again, it wouldn't be so uncommon to ultimately have other portraits taken of us without our shirts on, for we both eventually became professional mixed martial art fighters and would be displayed shirtless on other Ultimate Fighting event posters as well as in newspapers. Now, watch as I point out similar objects between these two portraits. One being the tattoo on Sean's left arm located on the area of the upper bicep under the shoulder muscle, like the tail end of the snake on the same arm and location of the Brazen Serpent painting. Other comparable artifacts alike would be these two dark garments, both reflecting a green, turquoise, blue color with rippled creases aligning in the same pattern. One being my shorts, as for each covering the upper legs exposing the knees. As for the character in this painting, coincidentally captivating my physical and characteristic features of my exact identity from then up until the year 2023. Now watch closely as I point out somatic details using photographs and video footage of myself within this time period. Now take a look at the matching contours of the chin and jaw as I compare with mine on other photographs capturing me with my mouth open. And once again with the newspaper photo taken of me in my very first professional MMA fight I showed you earlier. Now here are other distinctive features in common with the character in the painting of me rollerblading. When aligning my somatic posture parallel with the corresponding figure in the painting, both being the same size, you can obviously see indistinguishable aspects of the structure between each shoulders, biceps, the two left hands, and not to mention the lineaments in their facial expressions as well as their bodily appearances. Okay, getting back to our first picture. Notice how Sean's hand is positioned by his right ear, whereas in the painting, my resembling character has his hand also against Sean's matching figure's right ear. Now, if you take a look at the disposition of our overall posture, I will now show you how this arrangement setup correlates with our picture taken together from midnight January 1st, 2023. And to see how the two figures in the painting relate to this photo, we will focus here on the lower center and zoom in on Sean's tattoo. With the brazen serpent painting, we will enlarge the two resembling characters. And on the top part of Sean's tattoo, you'll notice what appears to be a sketch of a head, much like an outline version of the matching figure. Only this head seems to be tilted a bit more with the mouth wider open, giving the impression that he's screaming. On the lower part of Sean's tattoo aligned parallel to his resembling figure. When compared, it would look as though the sketch tattooed version gives the impression that the arm or a body of a serpent is wrapped around his face and ears, exposing only the top part of his head, in common with the painting, as well as the snake looped around the arm mimicking the one around the pole. On his tattooed arm, you'll also see what appears to be 3 loops like the serpent, up to the sketch of the screaming head figure. Now watch as I integrate by aligning the matching character in the painting's top part of his head over that of the sketch of the screaming head figure, as well as merging the other resembling being over the sketched tattoo version of his arm or serpent wrapped around his face and ears. Watch how the painted characters and the tattooed sketch outline figures are congruent with one another by their twist of reactions and emotional gestures. Now going back to the full brazen serpent painting and aligning the outer left border to the 2023 New Year's photo, with the half moon over the tail end of the serpent, as well as the left side of the pole lined up to the edge of the back window. See this transformation when integrated over top. Again with this particular alignment on the right-hand side behind the tent. When focused on the gray areas of the clouds as both are merged together with a transformational overlap, you see the shades of my eye and brow evenly match up, as well as the top patch of my hair. Furthermore, the side of my face lines up accurately with the edge of the pointed tower, with this area being highlighted with a tinted peach skin color tone. I can't help but notice the likeness of the top side corner of my face now every time I look into this section of the painting. As for the side rippled creases from the canvas wall of the canopy tent aligned evenly over the lines of my facial expression, and when combining the photo taken a fraction of a second after, you'll see the triangular bar pendant ceiling light hanging in the same sector region of the pointed tower, as well as the other contours match up, especially around the outer lower part of my nose. Now going back to the full brazen serpent painting to decipher basic hidden meanings and principles of this portrait. As for most would have overlooked this distinctive figure on the mid-right corner. Here's a larger version of him portrayed in a sketch by an artist who goes by the name of Peter Paul Rubens, entitled Hippocrates Heraclidae F. Coves. This important character was better known as Hippocrates, a Greek physician, considered one of the most outstanding figures in the history of medicine, referred to as the father of medicine. He is the first person to believe that diseases were caused by the product of environmental factors, diet, and living habits rather than a punishment inflicted by superstition and gods. Here he is once again in the brazen serpent painting. And for anyone who is not familiar with him, he is the one that wrote the Hippocratic Oath, written in the 4th or 5th century BC. Its general ethical principles are to keep the holy things of medicine within the medical community. The doctor, with regard to his patients, vowed by, "I will abstain from all intentional wrongdoing and harm." Providing poisonous drugs would have certainly have been viewed as immoral by contemporary physicians if it resulted in murder. The absolute ban described in the oath also forbids euthanasia. Now, with this copy of a 12th century Greek manuscript of the oath, let's compare this with similarities with the brazen serpent painting. Starting with the top paragraph, following the scriptures align down the center of this page, like the shape of the rod of the serpent. Two symbols on the bottom also appear in the figure of the rod and serpent. In the middle, this 12th century manuscript pictured in the shape of a cross represents a reference to pagan deities being replaced by a Christian preamble statement. Here opening, with a larger decorative initial lettering, structured like the contours of the body and part of the rod of Moses' brazen serpent. Now, I will show you what this painting has in common with the New Year's cake photo of 2022. If you compare the top part of the brazen serpent pole with the capital letter T in the center of the word mystery, you will see the same exact shape and both being coincidentally the same color. This is just one example of the key elements that bind these portraits together. And similar to solving the other mysteries by centralizing on the midpoint and the fundamental principle of interest. So this will conclude this broadcast presentation of modern bizarre events and coincidences that piled up more and more as I dwell deep in connection with 18th century art. By hidden yet obvious parallelisms in correspondence with recognizable objects or aspects of a contemporary period in my life, like a force from beyond reaching out to communicate with me by an approach using means of creative artistry, in a perplexing time of panic and confusion with uncertainties of what lied ahead, I suddenly found myself in a trance to decipher signs presented before me, and why I was chosen for this will be another mystical, uncanny journey to figure out. Like and share this video if you found it intriguing, and also subscribe for more puzzling content, as I am in the process of posting a third-part episode of this series presenting the interpretation of the Eliphas Levi-Dell mystery, tied with additional prophetic and phenomenal material. And for those of you who haven't seen the video on how to solve the Eliphas Levi-Dell mystery yet, I posted a link in the description below. In this presentation, I discuss never before talked about topics of the creation of the true meaning of the infamous Baphomet design. So be on the watch for my newer consecutive sequels based on these mystical parallel topics. And look for me, and though there are many who appear to be, there is only one Mr. E who truly solves mysteries.